Hey guys, welcome back to another Bless Unleashed video. So today is going to be my final review for this game after playing a whopping 162 hours of this game. I know this isn't much for those other hardcore players out there, but this is good enough for me to throw a final review of this game. So actually, before we get into that, let's just address the main two problems why people aren't playing this game or why it deterred them from playing this game. It's pay to win and the open world PvP. So let's go over the pay to win. So I did make a video about this game being pay to win, but you don't have to pay to win basically, and you can have a great time in this game. I had a great time. Even if it has some pay to win aspect in this game, it doesn't take away from you having fun by playing this game. So, and the grind isn't even that bad for the equipments because I've gotten pretty decent gear already and I only have 160 hours, and some games require you to do more. However, the grind for experience is a lot harder and longer than grinding for gear. That's the only thing that I want to make a clarification about the pay to win. And it's pretty fun to just grind it out in this game. So yeah, I will describe more about that later. And then the PvP, the open world PvP. So basically the open world PvP is only in higher level zones. So when a higher level player comes back to the lower level player zones, which everybody is populated at, they cannot PvP you. You have to be in the level 30 or level 28 or higher zone in order for you to get PvP'd. But most of the times, in my experience, no one is there because everybody is just hanging around in the lower areas because you still get your experience, you still fight world bosses, you still do a lot of different things and activities in those lower level areas that you could do in those higher level areas. It's not going to be that much more advantageous for you to grind at the higher level area versus the lower level area. You still can get good gear by just grinding it all out in the lower level area and never get PvP'd in your life. And of course, I'm not saying that you're gonna get PvP'd if you get ventured out in the level 30 areas. I have not gotten PvP'd. I actually PvP'd someone because they were AFK and I want to test it out the PvP mode. I'm sorry for that person, but I pushed him off the cliff and he died. So yeah, anyways, you don't have to be scared about the open world PvP. It's not a big deal. Yeah, let's get right into the video now. So one reason why I still am playing this game after so many hours is because of the combat. I love this combat. Of course, it varies on what character you are and what profession you're playing. I know not everybody agree that the combat in this game is that good, but I think it's pretty decent. And in order for a game to actually make you play it more, it's all about the gameplay and the combat and the questing. So that's another thing I want to get to is the questing. I love the questing in this game because there are so many different types of quests in this game and they all contribute towards something. So let's get into it about the questing in the system. So I'm going to go on my map over here. You're going to have like these little mini bosses and quest objectives. Basically killing things, finding animals, reviving people, these types of quests, gathering quests. All of these things contribute towards your experience in this game. So the world bosses are basically a bigger boss that does require a lot more people to do. You cannot solo those, that's for sure. I mean, you maybe could, but I wouldn't recommend it. It would probably take forever. And then there's also these quests, crusades. These are fun. These things, basically, you kill a bunch of monsters and then it spawns the crusade. So if you scroll out, right, you see these green trees over here. These are crusades. When it's big like this, that means the crest is available. Basically, what you need to do is kill enemies around this area, and then it will spawn the event. Once spawned, there's going to be a lot of different enemies that come out, and then you can kill, and they also give a lot of loot. And then at the end, you fight like a couple of mini bosses, and then you get your loot at the end, and it pretty much gives you equipment upgrades and some loot that can be legendary gear and stuff like that. Really interesting to do and really fun. Also give you tons of experience, which you do need because this game have a lot of different experience that you need to get. So as you can see over here, I got my regular experience for my level. I got experience as a crusader for my class, CXP, and then I got a SXP for my skill points. Reputation system. Basically, there are different cities or towns that you have to get reputations for, which requires you to do quests on that map in order for you to gain an honor system. And these things will allow you to buy gear or on their specific region. So right here, as you can see on the top, it has a 15k, 30k, and mine is like in between 5k and 15k. That's my reputation for now. the higher you go, the more things will be unlocked for you in the reputation merchants. And each city has their own thing. So basically, you can buy dyes, some armor skins, emotes, and stuff like that. And it's really worthwhile. You get to spend your gold here because you can accumulate gold a lot. And basically, you want to spend your gold. And this is another way to spend your gold is to buy these skins, to buy recipes, things like that. They're all different in each town. So you're going to have to really do a lot of quests in order for you to get all your reputations up there. That's why the replayability of all the quests on each map is quite fun, because you know you're gaining something and you're going after something more than just your level experience, your class experience, your skill experience. You're also going for town experience. There's just so much good things about this kind of system that I really like. And also you have union levels. So basically you choose one of 3 unions, and they both have their union skill that you can have. Basically, the PvE one is the Sentinels, the crafting one is the Artful Disguise, and the Court of Ravens is the PvP one, the Artisan Society. I was just reading the union skill. But yeah, these are your 3 unions, and you have to level them with doing like quests or doing crafting or doing PvP. So yeah, there's just a lot of different types of leveling in this game, which is why it makes you want to, grind even more. However, this doesn't favor adventuring. So when you're starting out and you want to adventure without having to do your personal story, that's not a good idea, because each section of the region that you are on, your personal story needs to be unlocked in order for you to start seeing quests in that region. You don't get experience for adventuring there or discovering new locations. You don't even get experience for discovering waypoints or soul pyres. So this is one of the mini bosses that you can play. The thing I like about it is that you don't need anyone around in order for you to defeat these mini bosses. They give you so much experience, and they give you a decent amount of loot as well, and you could solo it pretty much. It does take a little bit, but I mean, if the combat system is good, you wouldn't mind fighting this guy for like 5 minutes or so. On that note about the questing and having people join you, this is not a game where you fight for loot or anything like that. That's what I really love about games that don't have shared loot system. When you go into a dungeon, you defeat it, everybody gets that chest, not just one person and you roll a dice or whatever crap that, most older games are like. Another thing that I like is that if you want to get a single boss to spawn, or you're waiting for a spawn, you can just switch so seamlessly to another channel to see if they have spawned. So that way it reduces your waiting time to go after a boss. And also another good thing is that when the boss is like maybe 10%, 5%, and then you switch to that map and then you want to tag it, you could just hit it once and you still get all the loot that comes from that boss. For these mini bosses, it doesn't make it too much of a hassle, or it doesn't affect other players, like saying, oh man, this guy's just looting or just freeloading off of me because I did all the work and stuff. It's not really that bad, because these bosses are so easy to solo, and it only gets bad if it's a world boss and you just sit around until the boss is like 10% for those big world bosses, and then you do something. Then yes, that would be pretty bad. But I mean, in every game there's always someone out there that's just gonna AFK in the sidelines and then see if the boss is 5%, then you tag at the end and then you just didn't do any of the work. And yeah, you can't really do anything about that. But yeah, I also like that if you're in a party in the open world and you're killing things, like, you don't even have to tag the mob and you will still get your experience and loot if your teammate kills it. Like, really? What kind of game does that? I really like it. Like, if you're too far away to tag a monster but you're partying with someone who is very close to it and the boss is about to die, you will get that loot with that person. So being in a party in the open world, like, I always try to just randomly invite people when we're doing like crusades, random bosses, stuff like that, because I want to make sure I want to get the most amount of loot as possible. So if my teammates are killing something over there and I'm killing something over here, we both can loot it after we're done killing it. So that's another great thing and great features that I like in this game. Another thing on top of that loot that I'm talking about, you also don't need to do any dungeon in order for you to get good gear. Like, you could totally gear yourself up in the open world by doing world bosses, even the bigger ones, like not the mini boss. The mini boss gives you some loot, but it's not going to be anything worthwhile. But if you were to go after like the big world bosses, big world events, those are going to get you some pretty decent loot, and you can probably gear yourself up with that. However, note that if you are going to go that route and not try to play with people in the dungeon, then your time for grinding is probably going to be a lot more than if you were to just grind out dungeons and repeat them over and over again, because they do give faster rewards. and the dungeons are quite fast to get used to. And if you need some guides, I have it in my channel, go check it out, and you'll be able to do those dungeons. So I do know that dungeon gets you faster access to better equipment, but the thing about dungeons is that you can't get that much experience in it. So that's why it makes the open world content more relative, because you get more experience doing open world content than you do in dungeons. Another thing that I like about this game is the open world. Like, it's so seamless. Everywhere that you go, you can go from one city to the next, or not city, but town to the next town without ever encountering a single cutscene. They also have a pathfinder that tells you where your next quest is going to be. Final Fantasy XIV does not have this system, and I get lost like no tomorrow. Another thing that I like in this game is basically gathering. I mean, I never thought I would ever say this, but the gathering system makes you want to gather some of these things, like what I'm doing here. Basically, you gather these roots so that you can recover your health if you're in battle and you can't, get a mage to heal you, or your cooldowns are on, your potions are on cooldown. You could just go to a leaf and then just pick it up and you'll heal yourself. But not only that, you can use those materials to create potions that heals you for a lot more. However, the crafting in this game, I would say, is very confusing and abundant, and I don't think they need that much materials to actually make the crafting system like how they did in this game. It just makes it too daunting and basically can turn off a lot of players. If you are not used to the crafting system in this game, you will look at it first and be like, why the heck does this have so much crafting that only gives you so little experience? Why do you require so many materials and all that stuff? But they make up for it because of the gear system that they have in this game. So basically, your gear could all be centered around gathering materials. Basically, if you look at your equipments, right, your helmet could be either, for fighting monster, or it can also be for gathering. Basically, what it would have is that it will increase your gathering speed for each one of these armor slots, and then therefore you can gather a lot faster. Albeit there's no template that you can freely switch around, and so you're gonna have to keep on equipping back and forth all your gear. And then also the inventory space is another thing to talk about. It's just too little that they give you because of how much gear you can acquire and how much crafting materials are in this game. So you're gonna really be very low on your inventory space. Another thing that I enjoy about this game is the dungeons. However, if you do not know how to do it, I do not enjoy that part. But once you get familiar with the dungeons, you know how to do it, everybody knows the mechanics, and you just get a group together and just do it, it gives you some pretty decent loot. Like, Jesus, I gotten a lot of good loot from just doing dungeons a couple of times as Temple of Lies, which I did make a guide for. You can check it out. And yeah, I got a lot of decent loot. I sold them for seeds, or the blue trees at the bottom right, which is currencies to buy any kind of gear that you want in the game from the trading post. And so yeah, if your group knows what to do and you know what to do, the dungeons are fun. However, if you have a group that doesn't know what to do and you don't know what to do, it's not fun. So yeah, you're gonna have to take your pick on that, because the matchmaking system makes it really hard for you to get a good static group that are experienced, since it is at random and you will be teamed up with random people if you do not know each other in the beginning. So if you do have a team of 5, you're playing with a bunch of friends with a 5-player party, you can pretty much grind out this game so easily without even spending a single dime, and you will be able to like pretty much own this game if you guys just keep doing and grinding the dungeons that they have in this game. Because I'm pretty sure if all 5 of you that know each other, you'll be practicing the dungeon, you'll be making it more efficient to do, because these dungeons, they don't last more than 5 minutes. You can do it really quick if everybody knows what to do. Depending on your mood, sometimes I want to kill monsters, I want to do dungeons and just grind it out like that, or sometimes I just want to chill and gather materials. At least I have the option and I know that it's viable. That's what I really like about this game. And then sometimes I want to kill like random mobs that aren't too difficult to kill, and still get a lot of experience from it. So now let's get into the flaws of this game. Like any other game, there is always a few flaws that we have to mention. So let's start with the fashion in this game and how expensive it is to do a lot of your fashion. So when you want to dye your armor, that's going to cost you money. When you want to change your outfit, that's going to cost you money. When you are trying to see a particular outfit or equipment, how it looks like, you can't. You have to buy it and then you have to equip it before you know how it looks like. or you go to the vendor to show you the outfit that you are trying to change. So you can't just look at it before buying it. You have to buy it, and then you go to your outfit designer over here, and then she will have the appearance for you and you can view it there. And another thing is when you are discovering recipes, dye recipes, or like, you know, buying it off vendors that have recipes, you don't know what dye recipes you already have, because it doesn't tell you, the game doesn't tell you whether you have it or not. So you kind of have to guess whether you unlock that dye or not. So if you wanted to unlock particular potions or elixirs from a vendor that sells the recipe, you don't even know if you have that recipe because it doesn't tell you. And then there's the crafting. The crafting requires way too many materials to craft one particular item for so little experience. You see the items that I need to get, like on the right side of this screen. I need to get all that, and then I only get plus 30 experience on the bottom left corner that you see as plus 30, right? So I have to get all those, or I can get 8 iron ores to craft this for 10 experience. So what would I rather do? Get 24 iron ores to get 30 experience, or get 6 fibers, 3 cactus peel, wild animal fur, and stone zephyr. So basically I have to adventure the entire open world to try to get these crafting materials, or just get iron ores. And then again, the gathering for iron ores is actually really long and tedious, because you have to mine it 3 times before you can actually get 1 ore. There's so many different world bosses, and then there's so many different items that drop from them, crafting mats drop from them. So it just makes this game too much crafting materials, especially when you have such a limited bag space to hold any of those items. Another bad thing is the Condi in this game. Like when you get hit with a condition, you can't cleanse it. Unless, I don't know if Priest can help cleanse it, but if you're solo playing as a Crusader, when you get Condi, it's like, oh my goodness, it's not cool, because you can't cleanse it, and then you're in combat for the duration of that Condi, and then that Condi can last for like a couple of seconds, and it slows down your gameplay so much. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. I know this has been a longer video than usual, but I just wanted to address all the stuff that I have encountered in this game, and hopefully you have got enough information to make you decide whether you want to play this game or not. And yeah, I would recommend it, definitely. And if this was a buy to play game, I would definitely have bought this game, because it is worth the hours that I put into it. And yeah, let's just see how it will do in the future when other MMOs like New World come out. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and like it if you do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!